Hey, many agency CEOs have a hard time letting go of delivery work because they can do it best. If that's you, then this video is for you. I want to walk you through the exact math for why letting go of delivery work is the right choice for your bottom line in your agency or service business. And if you stick around till the end, I'm also going to show you what you can do to tweak that ratio into your favor even more. My name is Benjamin. I'm a Fractional CEO and 3 times bootstrapped founder. And I see this so often. CEOs struggling letting go of delivery work because they can do it best. So you're an agency, you've built it from the ground up, you've taken on the first 10, 20, 30 clients yourself, you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what the standards are for delivery, and now you can't let go, right? You have a delivery team, but you're still involved in many client accounts because you think you can do it best. And here's the truth. Oftentimes that is right. You can do it best. You're better than everybody in your team with everything you do. So let's look at the math of this. Like, why does it make sense to let go of delivery even though you're the best at it? So assume you're the CEO and there's sales work that you do in this example and there's delivery work, right? So in 1 hour of sales work, you generate $200 in profit. So let's say it takes you 10 hours to close a client that gives you 2K net margin over lifetime. Just for the sake of this example, there's $200 that you generate in profit per hour of sales work. Now, if you do 1 hour delivery work, let's assume it's $100 is all margin because it's basically all your business, right? And you add a lifetime value of $20 because when you work on these client accounts, they stick around for 20% longer usually. So let's say your total margin in delivery is $120. Now look at your team members. They're worse in everything they do. It sounds mean, but they basically generate less profit regardless of what activity they do. So in sales, they're much worse than you. They create a quarter of the profit only. Even in delivery, they're not as good as you are when it comes to the margin situation in delivery, right? So you could argue, well, I want to stay involved because it helps with profit. But the math is different. So let's look at scenario number 1, which is what most agencies or many agency CEOs I work with do. They're still involved in delivery because they can do it best. So the math is this. You spend 20 hours in sales, 20 hours in delivery, so does your team member. And the total profit of this is, in this example, $8,840, right? So say, okay. Now compare that to when you just spend all your time in sales and have your team member do the delivery work, even though they're not as profitable in that as you are. So the math is very clear, right? You have $2,000 more in profit in this example. So just because you spend your time where it's most valuable, not where you're better than somebody else, right? So the math is clear. If you spend your time on where you are most profitable within your skill set, then you're better off than splitting it between different types of work, even though you're better at everything in your company than everybody else, right? So the takeaway here is it doesn't matter if your team doesn't deliver as well as you do from a financial perspective, right? They will never deliver in the same standard as you if it's your company. But the math is clear. You need to focus your work where you generate most revenue or most profit and not where you think you're better than somebody else, right? You got to let go. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, the one thing that you can do to tilt that ratio even more in your favor is to hone in on the stuff that you're really good at and that your team is good at spending their time on, right? So if you get better at sales and make this 250, and you help your team get better at delivery and say maybe they can retain clients longer, so we do this, right? So this switches the math even more in favor of the clear split between work. So takeaway is, regardless of whether or not you're better at delivery than your team is, get out of the client accounts, go into what grows your business, because that's typically the highest value task that you can have, and have your team focus on delivery even though they're not as good at it as you are. This will have the best bottom line impact for your business and will help you grow sustainably, because most of the founders I work with, they're being stuck in delivery, and that's what kills them. That's what eats up the hours, creates 60-70 hour work weeks. Don't do it. There's no point in it, even from a financial perspective. From a business perspective, it doesn't make sense to spend time where it's not most valuable. And I'd argue for most of you agency CEOs, the time is best spent in growing the business and generating business and being the rainmaker. If you like more of these agency operations tips and better stories from agency CEOs, then follow along, like and subscribe. Would mean the world to me, and see you in the next video. Thanks.